North Korean leader Kim Jong Un says his country needs to deliver a telling blow to those imposing sanctions by ensuring its economy is more self-reliant, state media reported on Thursday. Kim Jong Un, North Korea threatens the United States. It was the first time Kim stated North Korea's position on the second U.S.-North Korea summit in Hanoi that collapsed in February. This had signaled a continued focus on economic development, a strategic direction officially declared a priority in April. On North Korea's position on the summit, Kim said he would double down on efforts to create a self-supporting national economy so as to deal a telling blow to the hostile forces, who go with bloodshot eyes, miscalculating that sanctions can bring North Korea to its knees. According to KCNA, U.S.-North Korean engagement has appeared to be in limbo since the February 27 to February 28 summit in Hanoi, which collapsed over differences about how far North Korea was willing to limit its nuclear program and the degree of U.S. willingness to ease economic sanctions. Kim has continued to highlight his economic push in recent weeks in spite of the lack of sanctions relief. 9th NOS speakership, why I stepped down for Baha'u'llah. Dogwa state media have published images and reports of Kim's visits to at least 4 economic projects in 5 days over the past week, including a remodeled department store, tourist resorts, and an economic hub near the border with China. At a similar plenary session last year, Kim formally announced a new strategic line that focused on economic progress and improving North Koreans' lives, rather than the previous two-pronged approach of economic and nuclear weapons development. North Korea is expected to convene a session of its rubber stamp legislature, the Supreme People's Assembly, on Thursday. In its Wednesday meeting, the ruling party also elevated Cho Sun-hui, one of North Korea's leading negotiators with the U.S., to a position as a member of the party's Central Committee. In spite not explicitly naming the hostile forces that imposed sanctions, Kim is displaying a more hardened stance toward Washington than was recently in state media, analysts said. The comments were reported hours ahead of a summit between U.S. President Donald Trump and South Korean President Moon Jae-in in Washington on Thursday to discuss North Korea and other alliance issues. Trump loses his stare-down with North Korea's Jong-un. Moon has suggested that sanctions could be eased to allow inter-Korean economic engagement in return for some nuclear concessions by North Korea, but so far Washington has not agreed. It did not directly mention the U.S., but linked sanctions with hostile forces, said Shin Bom-chul, a senior fellow at the Asian Institute for Policy Studies in Seoul. He's saying North Korea would take an independent course unless the U.S. offered to lift sanctions. You maintain sanctions, you're a hostile force. If you ease sanctions, you're not. U.S. Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, told a congressional committee on Wednesday that he would like to leave a little room in the sanctions in case North Korea makes substantial progress toward giving up its nuclear weapons. In Hanoi, Kim sought relief from major UN sanctions, but Pompeo said those must stay in effect